right now we got a head honcho. He's been in the green room, getting ready for to come on here. And I think Dougie, I think this guy breaks the record. He is our first three-time guest. So we had a couple guys been here twice, but now he's the first three-time guest of the show, and I guess it's only right he's a Hall of Famer. So let's help me bring out once again the legendary Maseo Bolin. What's going on, Big Mace? What's going on, man?
How you doing? How you doing? I hope y'all can you hear me so much?
So the first two times I saw you, we talked to you like in the Lamborghini or the Bugatti. This is you back in the back cave at your house. So now you live more situated. But Brother Mace, thank you so much for coming out, man. I know you got a lot you want to talk about, but first of all, we got to talk about some football. I want to pick your brain.
Sure thing. Can you hear me so much?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I
man.
just wanted to make sure. Okay,
yeah. But we got a new offense coordinator, David Marsh, and he's also quarterbacks coach. How many quarterbacks coaches or offense coordinators did you have during your tenure? Did you just only have one when you played here, or did you have multiple?
Yeah, so I was fortunate. My time at A&T, I only had one, and that was John Eder.
John Eder.
So we played under Coach Eder, and he coached Connell, he coached myself, and the guys that came right after me. And then I think that's when Coach Hayes had some changes to the staff, and they brought someone else in. But I was fortunate that I was, I had the chance to work with Coach Eder for 5 years. So no changes that I had to deal with from that perspective. Although we did make some changes from the way we did things when I came in '91 versus what we looked like in '95. So there were some adjustments that were made. Yeah.
Okay, so people who don't understand that dynamic, what is it like for a starting quarterback? What relationship do you have with the offense coordinator / quarterback coach? Like, do you guys have lunch together? Like, what is the way that you guys are on the same page to make everything work?
So it's got to be when it works the best. There has to be an authentic relationship there built on trust. When you think about the challenges of moving the ball and moving the chains and getting first downs and scoring points, there's a lot of pressure, right? Whether it's on the coordinator, and if that coordinator is the quarterback coach, then that translates down to the quarterback, and you have to make plays, and you all are in that together, right? So when you do well, your coach and your coordinator typically are pretty pleased, and they get credit for what they're doing. And when you struggle a little bit, the good thing is the good coaches are the ones that will support you the most, even when you're struggling. I think there's got to be, and you heard the coach on there talking about having real conversations with kids, and you have to do that in this space, right? In order to make sure you're going to get the best out of your quarterback in that play each week. And so you've got to have honest conversations about the things that they do well. You've got to have conversations about the things that they struggle with. And the fact that you spend so much time in the film room and in meetings. For us, we would work out in the morning. We'd have practice in the afternoon. And then we went straight to meetings and film. So I was around my quarterback coach and coordinator all the time, right? So there's a real close relationship there. And the more time you're together, the more you're on the same page, that translates into success on the field. And it's not always that way. I had my days where I was at odds with some of the things that we were doing because I wanted to throw the ball 500 times a game, and Bill Hayes wanted to run it 5,000 times a game. So I would be lying if I sat here and said like I didn't have some tough days where we had some tough conversations and things were said. And but at the end of the day, you put it together and you got to get out there and try to win games on Saturday, because that's what everybody cares about. And that's what we're there for. So I'm excited, man. I think when you go through a change and you look at what happened last year and quite honestly, how bad things were, like you can only be excited about where we're potentially headed. I will say that there's a lot of hype around preseason and the kids that come in spring, and none of that matters until you get in that first game and you're under the whistle. That's when it's on. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how things go.
Now, look, we open up on a week from tomorrow, that Thursday night in Wake Forest, and then we come back and we have a home opener against Winston State. So you got FBS in Division Two. Do you like that opening? Would you prefer to go Division Two first to kind of get everything working and then go out and get the job? How do you like the way the schedules unfold, and what is your feel for it?
So I've seen it done both ways. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was there in A&T, we would open the season sometimes with teams that we were 1AA and they were Division Two, and it was going to be competitive, but we felt good about our chances to get out there, especially like offensively and as a quarterback. And Doug understands this. Defenses are clicking on day one because all they do is fly around and knock snot out of people. Right? If they line up right, they just got to fly around and make tackles. Offensively, it's timing, it's rhythm. It's tempo. Your chemistry has to be built up, and it's tough to do that at A&T when you're opening up with Wake Forest. But with that also being said, I think we had in our day where we opened up with an App State, right, which was like a big deal for us. And when you're competing, man, and you're out there and you're trying to be the best of the best, you embrace those opportunities too. So I don't think our guys will go into it if their heads are right, feeling at a disadvantage or anything like that. You understand what's at stake. But I think, as the coach said, things will be vanilla. You want to go out and execute and make sure you're doing the things that you've been working on. And you want to just have some success that helps build confidence, and you'll be sky high coming into Winston-Salem. Although you have to be careful and overlook it because people make that mistake too. And you don't want to get embarrassed in your backyard on Hall of Fame weekend, by the way. So that's a big deal for us, man. So excited for the guys.
We got to protect Hall of Fame weekend, and as you alluded to, we do have a new class of Hall of Fame inductees, and I'm going to trust because I know Myrna Mace. He's always prepared. Do you have the list of the new inductees in front of you? Can you read off the names? There he is. That's my quarterback.
Why did I know Samaj would ask me that? He didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you, but you knew it. You knew it.
Yeah.
So
we have a list of 12.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 12 folks. I'll give you their name and their sport.
Okay.
We do have a selection committee that makes those decisions. We get quite a few applications in each year that we do, which we go every other year for the Hall of Fame. And the process that we use, I can't go into all of the details, but big picture, what I can tell you is that like each sport is represented. So football players look at football, basketball players look at basketball, baseball looks at baseball. That way Maseo is not on the committee picking the volleyball folks, right? Something that I wouldn't know much about. So we do that, and then we come together and meet as a group, and then there's certain criteria and things that have to be met, and we have discussions about it. And that committee's been run as a feaster for quite some time, and we try to do the right thing into the applicants that we get and get it right most of the time. And I'm proud about the group that we have. So this year, our group is dominated, and there was some upset feelings in our meetings a little bit about it because it was dominated by basketball and track and field. So my football colleagues were feeling a little bit of a kind of way, but we still did things the right way. So Brittany Taylor James for basketball.
Oh, BTJ. Yes, Beatdowns Unlimited. Yes, sir.
Oh, BTJ. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Pablo Smith for track and field.
Okay.
Yeah. Nisha Watson, basketball, women's basketball.
Okay.
Stony Polite for football. Stony played back with Alan River.
A previous Inside the Valley guest, Stony Polite.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Stony had been on the waiting list for a while, and this year he finally got in. So there's hope for folks that don't get in that first time that they apply. Then we have
so how does that Mace, how does that work? So if you are a few votes short and you don't get it that first time, how long do you stay on the voting docket? How's that work?
I think we keep them on for 10, but what we look at is there are people that get denial letters as well. So if there's something and you just don't meet the criteria that we have set right now, you may get a denial letter. But if you're someone who qualifies, like meets the minimum, and there's someone that's a little more competitive than you, right, with a more competitive case that jumps ahead of you, then we still will keep that person that meets the minimum requirement on that list. Because it could be like, if you're a football guy, I know football. If you're a football guy and you're trying to get in, and there's somebody that's an All-American 2 or 3 years, my former roommate Curtis Burgeon was a two-time All-American, right? So when he came through, like, if anybody else that was not a two-time All-American, they weren't going to be as competitive. Right. Now, they may meet our minimum requirement, but Kurt's going to get that nod that year. So they may be on the list for the next year or two that comes through. And I would say this to, if there are any of my teammates or guys that played in the 90s and the 80s, and we still get some applications from the 70s, if you meet those requirements, man, apply now, because Broadway boys are coming. And it's going to change everything when Tariq and those kids become eligible. And our dinosaur butts are going to be out of there. So stop waiting. Stop expecting somebody to come to you. Get your applications and put your paperwork in, because this thing's going to change in the next probably 4 to 5 years. And I'm excited about that. So, but let me get back to my list. So I was at Stone, I'm sorry about that. Stony Polite for football, Chucky Beckton for basketball. You got, James Miller for basketball.
JJ Miller?
JJ Miller.
Okay.
Jeremy Jones for baseball.
Yes, sir. Dr. Jones.
Hammond for women's basketball. Coach Tim Abney, women's basketball.
Good up, Tim Abney.
And I'm tickled to death for Bob Beeman for track and field, so everyone knows his Olympic accomplishments. And then we have an honorary.
Stop the press. You talking about the triple jump? Bob Beeman?
Bob Beeman is an Aggie. Yeah. He went to A&T. I think he competed here for 2 years before he transferred. And he ended up winning a number of events in the Olympics. And he applied. And so he's been accepted, and we're excited about that.
Okay, man. I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have two more that we have what's called an honorary category. So that's our non-athlete category that we do that for folks that like have a tremendous impact on the university, and they have to make a strong case, particularly towards athletics. So we have Jim Pender, who will be to the Hall of Fame. And one of my favorites of all time is Miss Patsy Frazell. So Patsy will be going into the Hall of Fame. And she is very deserving of that.
Good deal. Yeah.
So I feel good about this class, man, and I feel like we got it right. We have our challenges, right? Because we have to make tough decisions, but our commitment is to try to have a fair and balanced process that we use. We are very focused on making sure we're gender equitable. So we do a lot with our women's sports, and we also pay special attention to our non-revenue sports. So if you look back, like, it's literally weird for me because we got one football player that made it in. And again, it was dominated by basketball and track and field, but those folks are deserving. So we did the right thing. We have our banquet coming up on September 5th, which will be at the Grandover this year. And we're expecting over 600 people. It's about to sell out. We've got maybe a couple tables that are left. We have a very nice program where those folks will be recognized. We'll have a live band. We're going to have a beer and wine station. So we're going to have a great time in there this year out at the Grandover on September 5th.
All right. So that's also an event that right before that, right? It's a golf tournament that you guys do every year.
It's the day after.
It's the day after that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about this Hall of Fame golf tournament. It gets bigger in scale every year. And every year, everybody's talking about the who's who that participated. You always see stuff on social media of, people doing a foursome with this guy. And is Coach Hayes going to be participating again this year?
Coach Hayes will be there. I spoke with Coach Hayes today, and he's still Bill Hayes, but he will absolutely be there. And before I say anything about that, Samaj, I just got to take a minute to say to you, and to Craig and to Doug, man, I can't thank you guys enough, because we did have a successful tournament last year, but there were specific areas where we were a little bit slow, and it picked up after I came on your show. And it would not have been a success for us had I not come on this show and talked to you guys, and you all supported us right there on the show. And before I talk about anything with the golf tournament, I just got to say thank you to you, and you know how I feel about you, and I'm so grateful. We would not have had the success that we had last year without coming on this show. And your supporters, your listeners, we started to see the impact that night and over the next couple of weeks. And they helped us to reach some of the goals that we had. So, man, I'm grateful. And I just want to say that before I say anything else about the tournament.
Now, thank you for allowing us to even participate and be a part of it, because this is really the premier kind of kickoff event of the fall. You know, it's kind of like one of the things, football season, when that golf tournament comes around, and then, like you say, yourself and other Hall of Famers and all these former coaches and administrators are all around in one room, and then a regular person, just a lay person, can just come in there, get become a donate to the thing, and maybe even get your business sponsored and have your little sign on the holes. So it's such a great opportunity for the community to kind of interact with these great Hall of Famers. And we might, I gotta still figure out the logistics with Craig and Doug, but we're gonna try to even maybe participate at that event in some capacity. We'll kind of tease that for right now.
Hey man, I'm gonna be hitting them. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I've been begging y'all to do that. I've been begging.
I'm gonna be playing, man.
Wait, Doug, you can be mic'd
catch
up.
Me at the turn, man.
Listen, we can go live. You can be mic'd up on each hole. You can be like a correspondent.
I'll already be there. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. It's a great year for it.
So look, man. So paint the picture, man. Because right now, we haven't really opened the floodgates and told everybody in Blue Death Nation to where to go to be a part of it. But first of all, let's paint the picture of what this tournament is going to be about. Just give us a synopsis.
So I think the first thing people need to understand is that this is a revenue stream for the Hall of Fame. So we have $1 million endowment. That $1 million endowment is used to fund scholarships for student athletes, primarily in the supplementary space, right? And we do a lot to help out those student athletes in non-revenue generating sports. With all of the changes that are going on with college athletics, the NIL changes, there's an Austin Fund that's created at A&T that's being used to help from a recruiting perspective. Our athletic director, we've been in a number of talks. And so now our Hall of Fame is not only, we're still responsible for managing our endowment, but we're also looking for additional ways to create revenue where that money goes directly to the athletic department to help them with recruiting athletes so that A&T can be competitive. So this golf tournament and our banquet is like a really, really big deal for us because these are the two revenue streams that we have right now. We're working on creating some other avenues, but basically what we voted on as a body, and we met multiple times and we talked about it, we want to leave our endowment where it is because that's what it was intended for, the Graber endowment. But what we will do now is the money that we make from our other entities, that money will be held in our account and then moved over to the athletic department to help support them in the areas that they see the greatest need. So as I said last year when we came on here, if you're registering to play in the tournament, if you're doing a whole sponsorship, we have corporate sponsorships that we are taking. And so any of those monies that we collect, that 100% of that money is going back into A&T athletics. We don't do any funky stuff with the money, and I can assure you of that. And so what we have and what it will look like that day, and I think it's important for people to know, we're trying to get to the point where eventually this becomes an event and not a golf tournament. That's the big picture kind of vision of it. But so we've got the golf, we've got the great meal afterwards when we finish playing. But the other thing that we're growing is our what we call vendor village. So we have a number of businesses that come out and set up shop, and they're selling and marketing their products to 130 golfers, 50 Hall of Famers walking around, some other fans and people that come out. So they're marketing their products directly to folks. and we charge them a small fee that goes in the same pot with everything else. And those people do really well coming out there. And we've had cigar bar or cigar vendors. We've had winemakers. We've had the embroidery guys. We've had caterers. So we've had a number of different businesses, insurance and financial folks, to come out and set up because they've got direct access to our golfers, and our golfers appreciate that. So we've been begging people, to come out and hang out with us that day. We're going to have a comedian walking around telling jokes once we finish playing. So we're going to have a good time out there.
Let me guess. It's going to be probably somebody from the A&T fan forum. One of the clowns on my site is going to be the comedian.
I can't give his name out yet. We'll give it out pretty soon.
That's a whole cast of characters. There's about 4 or 5 guys who can fit that bill. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. I digress.
So we're just looking to have a great time, and our slots are still open, but they're filling up fast. And we actually have an early bird deadline that ends on Friday. So if people are interested in playing, I'll give you all the information, Samaj, and they can go on and register. And there's an increase to the price after Friday, but our goal is to fill it up with 30 teams. We had 30 teams last year. That's 120 golfers. So that's our goal, to make sure we hit that number, and we're getting close. What I need from you, and where you all helped me tremendously last year, is I set an aggressive goal in my first year to get 50 hole sponsors. So hole sponsorships are basically profit for us with the golf tournament. It doesn't really go to pay any of our expenses. So it's important that we capture and hit that number. So when I came on your show, Samaj, I went back and looked. I think we were at 9 hole sponsors. And I was ticked off. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I was ticked off, right? And after we were on your show, we had some people, support us that night while we were on the show. And then about a week and a half later, we were up to 28 hole sponsors. Wow. My goal was to hit 50, and we ended up with 77 hole sponsors.
Oh, my man. So listen, that's awesome. I'm excited. Listen, that's what Blue Death Valley is all about, man. We are here to propel things forward, and we got a weird way of doing it. Sometimes we kind of chastise and we point out things that got to get fixed, quick, fast, in a hurry, but we also want to celebrate and we want to promote things that people need to know about. This is one thing that people need to know about. This is going to be the big event of the year. Every year moving forward, it's going to be a gala, because you guys are not small potatoes, right? You guys know you rubbing elbows with the elite, and you are the elite, and you have a great vision. You're kind of like me. I don't want to just have a regular website. I want to have a glorious website. You guys want to have a glorious event. And all it takes is a little bit of support from, the community and the fan base. And so we're going to rally behind you again. I put a link in the chat. Hopefully, if you guys in the chat can read that, click on that link and see if that's the right one. Because I didn't get a chance to do it right now, but I'm going to put all the information in the description of this video once we get off air. Of course, I'm going to have a link on the front page of bluedeathvalley.com where you click on it, go straight to the donation button, the sign up button, and we're having the fan forum. So we're gonna whatever numbers that we reached last year that you think came from our site, I want to double that. So that's the challenge. And so real quick, so I got you here, and I got to get my whole sponsorship. Last year we did a challenge. Me and you, we were on the phone. We were kind of preparing for this show. I took out my credit card and I said, let me see how fast I can sign up, right? I think, I don't know what it was. It was probably like a minute, 2 minutes. But
right at 2 minutes.
It was right at 2 minutes. But I don't want to beat my own record, okay? So Doug, Craig, y'all throw some questions at him. I'm going to go right now. Now, do you have, Mace, do you have the means to see if a donation comes through? Can you check it in real time?
I don't know if I can see it in real time, but what we can do is once you finish, let me know. And if something's not right, I'll make sure I come back before you guys end the show.
Okay, all right. So I'm out. So right now, Craig, Mason, synchronize your watch. I want you to see what time it is, because I'm about to do the Hall of Fame tournaments sponsorship challenge, and I got bad eyesight, so it's gonna take me around.
T minus.
All right, so I'm about to go 5, 4, and when I do this, so they know dead air. Y'all ask me some questions. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going. All right, go ahead.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna ask Maseo any questions. I'm just gonna do my promo for the golf tournament. Everybody knows a good golf tournament is one that you show up to and leave with more stuff than you came with. And one thing about that tournament, aside from seeing all the A greats and rubbing elbows and having those conversations, is the gift bag from that tournament. You got to go put your gift bag up in the car before the tournament starts because there's not room for 2 gift bags on the back of the car. I mean, you guys loaded up all the food you can eat. Maceo spoke about the wonderful vendors that were out there. I mean, I think I walked away with the cigars, the alcoholic-free beverage, everything you can name or want was there. And then the raffles and the giveaways that took place at the end, man. If you didn't stay to the end of that tournament to receive your gift or your door prize, I mean, that took almost as long as the golf tournament. And so, I mean, guys walked away with golf clubs, golf bags, shoes, you name it. So I don't know what you guys do to raise all that money or to raise all those gifts for donations, man. But obviously, you got a good thing going, man, and it's going to continue to grow year to year. And I'm excited to see the growth it's going to make this year. We should be one up because I know I at least sponsored one hole for my 2003 team, Samaj. So that's not going to show up on this end of the bargain, but I'm excited to see what Blue Def Nation is going to do here in the next couple minutes. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Doug. Appreciate it. Look forward to having you back out there.
I'm gonna try to keep it in the short stuff.
Maceo, Maceo, I want to ask you about the banquet coming up on that Thursday night, and that's going to be held out at Grandover.
Yes, sir. We'll be at the Grandover. I don't know the name of the ballroom, but I think we're actually taking up 2 ballrooms to get the 600 people in there. We've been having it on campus, and the space was a little limited. So this is really good that we were able to negotiate with those folks and get it over there at the Grandover. We're going to have a program that we do. We'll have some speakers. The AAF will be there to represent and share with us that evening. We're going to have a live band that will be there playing. And then, I mean, it's really about those inductees, right? And as president, I have to kind of get my thoughts together on, my comments and things. And it's always so emotional because it's a big, big deal for those folks when they come through. And it's about them that night. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be good. I think we're going to have a really strong turnout. And I'm excited that we're able to do that at the Grandover. We're going to have the press conference at the Grandover at 12 noon, and then we'll have the banquet that night. And then the golf tournament will be on Saturday.
Hey, I'm done.
So it took you 2.5 minutes, Samaj. You
man,
you were a little slower this year.
No, I wasn't. I was screaming. Somehow I got kicked out, and I was trying to get back in. So give me 10 seconds. I want a 10-second deduction off that.
We give 15 seconds.
Oh man, so I'm in, and I got $100 whole sponsorship, and I'm already signed up for to help out this tournament. It was that easy, and I'm old. My eyesight's messed. I had to read the zip code on my credit card about 15 times. But listen. It's super easy. It's for a good cause, and I got to have the link everywhere. Everybody can take the challenge. I did 2.5 minutes. I think y'all can beat me. And like I say, man, this is gonna get so much. This is one of them deals where you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, man, in 2024 was awesome, but 2026, 27, look at it now. It's only gonna get bigger and better.
Yeah. Hey, Samaj. So this is important that I plug this. So when you need to do this, and anyone else that purchases a whole sponsorship. So essentially, you purchase a whole sponsorship. We get a sign, and we put your information on it. So if you want to do it, if I want to do the Bolin family, if you want to do it in honor of a fallen teammate or a fallen comrade, if you want to put your business name on there or your kids' names, you send us an email at ncatsuhallofame@gmail.com. ncatsuhallofame@gmail.com, and you email us what you want on the sign. And if you have a specific hole that you want your sign placed on, so me, I'm quarterback number 9. If I want my hole on my sign on the 9th hole, I can put that in the email and we'll honor that request for you. So when you pay for it you pay for the whole sponsorship on Eventbrite, and he'll post the link. But if you go to the Eventbrite site, make sure you put Greensboro for the location, and then put North Carolina A&T Hall of Fame Golf Tournament. It'll come up, and once you pay for your whole sponsorship, then make sure you email us what you want on your sign. And there's also different levels of sponsorship that you'll see on the website if there's anyone that wants to do any, give us any additional support. But yeah, Samaj, it's that quick and easy, man. And I'm grateful for you. And you text or email us what you want, and we'll make sure that we get that on the sign and taken care of for you.
Can I have someone say fix War Memorial?
I was about to say that. I already know what he's going to say on there. I was hoping he wouldn't, Craig.
There's 3 words. Fix War Memorial. That's all I want.
Craig, what season is it, Craig? It's football season, Craig. We're gonna go with football right now.
It's football season, man.
Oh man, I love you guys. Hey, so listen, so May, we have to get out of here because it's been a long night. I think we got all the essential information about this tournament, and we're gonna. If you have any other questions, just come to BlueDeathValley.com, and I promise you, between now and first thing in the morning, me and Mace gonna get it figured out. We're gonna have all the information for you in an easy to go to link to get all that data. And guys, this is the time where we gotta rally the troops, because I think this is going to be a really good season, man. I'm telling you, I got a good feeling. And if you go to practice, I don't know how many guys have had a chance to actually sneak by practice in the morning. They usually go from like 9 to 11. But I tell you, man, that's a different vibe. It's palpable. I don't know what it is, and hopefully it's just not fool's gold. I think it's legit. Are you on the fence, Mace? Do you feel any? What's your gut reaction? You think this can be a turnaround?
So I saw them in the spring, and the spring game is tough to kind of determine because it's vanilla even at the spring game. But what I did appreciate is they look different physically. They looked a little bit different than we have in the past up front on the offensive side of the ball. And that goes a long way. Just those kids out there just looked a little bit different. So I'm interested. I mean, I have a relationship with Coach Brown. He's been very accessible. I was actually a part of the interview process, so I've seen him from the very beginning. And some of the things that he talked about, I think he knew the challenges that he was going to be facing. And they are taking those steps. And I think in all fairness, man, you got to give them an opportunity to get in and get their feet wet and start to get the kind of kids that they want to get. And we're taking those steps. They got to get out there and win football games too. We got to beat Winston and we got to beat Central, because I'm tired of my boys from Central, man. They are giving me hell. And I am sick and tired of them, man.
They're chirping.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad at I won't go too deep, but I just felt like Trey Oliver made some comments that he didn't need to make when they beat us. It's one thing when you beat somebody, you congratulate the other team, you appreciate your guys, and you move on to the next opponent. But it's so bitter that things were said, and so they have an advantage because they've got folks who played in it, who've been in it, who understand it, and we've got a staff coming from the CAA that's got to get their feet wet with it, right? Yeah. But we got to turn it around, man. That's what they're brought in here for, and the only thing we can do is support those guys. Some of us alumni football players will be going back to watch practice on Saturday, and then we're doing a tailgate afterwards. And it's all about supporting those kids, man, and wishing them well. And so we'll see.